Hello there everyone. Welcome back to my channel Exploring Africa View. We bring you amazing content about Africa. Today we will be talking about one of the most saddest events in Africa history, the Rwanda Genocide. We publish new videos every day. Please do well to like and subscribe for more educative content. Let's get right into it. The Rwandan Genocide occurred from April 7 to July 15, 1994 was one of the most brutal and rapid genocides in modern history. Over the span of 100 days, an estimated 800,000 to 1 million people were executed, primarily members of the Tutsi ethnic group, along with moderate Hutus, TWA, and political opponents. The genocide left a profound impact on Rwanda and the international community. Before European colonization, Rwanda was a monarchy with a social hierarchy consisting of three groups: Hutus, Tutsis, and TWA. Although they shared common language, culture, and religion, the Tutsi minority, who were cattle herders, were historically in positions of power. The Hutu majority were mostly farmers. The TWA were pygmies living in the forests. During colonial era, the Germans and later the Belgians ruled Rwanda from the late 19th century to the early 1960s. The Belgians favored the Tutsis, viewing them as a more aristocratic group due to their physical features and pastoralist lifestyle. They were given administrative and military roles, and this exacerbated the divide between Hutus and Tutsis. Belgians implemented ethnic identity cards to formally classify Rwandans as Hutu, Tutsi, or TWA, intensifying the division between the two groups. In 1962, Rwanda gained independence from Belgium, and the Hutus took control of the government. The Hutu Revolution of 1959 saw Hutus oust the Tutsis from power. This led to violent reprisals against Tutsis and the mass exile of Tutsis to neighboring countries, especially Uganda, Burundi, and Tanzania. Tutsi refugees formed rebel groups, most notably the Rwandan Patriotic Front (RPF), with the goal of returning to Rwanda. This division led to an all-out civil war starting from 1990 to 1993. In 1990, the RPF, led by Paul Kagame, launched an invasion from Uganda to overthrow the Hutu-dominated government. The Hutu government, led by Juvenal Habyarimana, resisted, leading to a civil war. The war exacerbated ethnic tensions, with Hutu extremists using state-controlled radio and media to spread anti-Tutsi propaganda. A peace agreement, the Arusha Accords, was signed in 1993, aiming to establish a power-sharing government. However, hardline Hutu extremists were opposed to the accords, believing that power should remain exclusively in the hands of the Hutu majority. On April 6, 1994, President Habyarimana's plane was shot down as it was landing in Kigali, executing him and the president of Burundi. The attack remains controversial, with some believing it was carried out by Hutu extremists, while others blamed the RPF. Habyarimana's death was the immediate trigger for the genocide. Extremist Hutus quickly took control of the government and initiated a mass killing spree against the Tutsi population and moderate Hutus. The genocide began on April 7, 1994, the day after Habyarimana's death. Hutu extremists in the military, government, and Interahamwe militia youth group initiated a systematic killing campaign against Tutsis and moderate Hutus. Mass executions occurred across Rwanda, especially in Kigali, the capital, and the countryside. The genocidal forces used machetes, clubs, and guns to slaughter victims. The methodical nature of the execution, including the use of roadblocks to capture and execute victims, indicated that this was not a spontaneous act, but a carefully planned and coordinated genocide. Radio-Television Libre de Mille Collines RTLM, a radio station backed by Hutu extremists, played a crucial role in inciting violence, calling for the extermination of the Tutsi cockroaches. Radio broadcasts named specific Tutsi individuals and provided lists of people to be executed, encouraging ordinary Hutus to participate in the execution. The United Nations had peacekeepers in Rwanda under the UNAMIR mission, but their mandate was limited, and they were not authorized to intervene in the killings. Belgian peacekeepers were the first to be executed, which led to Belgium withdrawing its forces from Rwanda. Many ordinary Hutus were drawn into the violence through fear, propaganda, or being coerced by the military and militia groups. The executions were indiscriminate, neighbors turned against neighbors, and entire families were wiped out. Those who refused to participate were often executed themselves. By mid-July, the Rwandan Patriotic Front RPF, led by Paul Kagame, had gained control of Kigali and much of the country. The genocide began to wind down as the RPF defeated the Hutu government forces and took control of Rwanda. Over 2 million Hutus fled to neighboring Zaire, now the Democratic Republic of the Congo, fearing reprisals from the RPF. Many of these refugees were genocidaires responsible for the executions. Genocide left Rwanda deeply scarred. The population was severely reduced, families were torn apart, and the country was left with a devastating economic, social, and emotional toll. Mass graves were scattered throughout Rwanda, and efforts to provide care and healing were initially overwhelmed. International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda (ICTR) was established by the UN in 1994 to prosecute the perpetrators of the genocide. Over 60 individuals were convicted, including Jean-Paul Akayesu, the first person to be convicted of genocide by the ICTR. Gacaca courts were established in Rwanda as a community-based justice system to deal with lower-level perpetrators of the genocide. These courts were designed to promote reconciliation and healing in local communities. After the genocide, Rwanda faced the daunting task of reconciliation and rebuilding. Paul Kagame and the RPF established a new government and worked towards economic development, focusing on stability, healthcare, education, and unity. Over the years, Rwanda has achieved significant progress in reducing poverty and improving infrastructure, though political dissent is heavily suppressed under Kagame's leadership. The Rwandan genocide is a stark reminder of how quickly ethnic problems, if left unchecked and fueled by state machinery, can escalate into mass executions. It teaches the world the importance of early intervention, the need for justice, and the power of resilience and reconciliation after unthinkable tragedy.